Yeah, welcome to this masterclass on stepping away from hourly rates, creating an offer your clients will love. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited. I just got the technical difficulties sorted. Just couldn't stream to the Facebook group. Yeah, so a couple of housekeeping things. First thing is I really encourage you to grab pen and paper to be able to write things down that come up during this masterclass. So you can, just jot down insights that are coming. Next thing is the masterclass is going to take about 40 minutes. It's a guess, we'll see. And I'd encourage you to really take this time to fully focus on the masterclass. So turning off notifications, closing all the other tabs on your phone or on your computer so that you're fully here. I also really encourage you to engage. So I have my phone right below here. Being in the group, in the Facebook group. So I will be able to see your comments. So as a first thing, for those of you joining live, I'd love to just see, because I don't see names, I just see there's some people live. So if you can just write something in the comments, just writing, hey, joining in from wherever you are, that would be awesome. And also if you catch the replay, the best learning you will get is by engaging as if it was live. And then the last thing is I'll have some space in the end to do a Q&A. So you can type questions during the training in the comments below the video. I might see them, I might not respond to them depending on the flow. But if I miss them, there's going to be a Q&A in the very end. Nice. I see more people joining. Hey, Jan. Thanks for showing up. See Oliver and Petra are here. Awesome. Hey, Martin. Nice. Long time. Hey, Petra, nice. Czech Republic is representing. It's good. Yeah, I'll give myself the reminder now to breathe, to stretch, and I encourage you to do the same. Since you're not visible on the video, obviously you can do whatever you want. Whenever I speak with people over Zoom, I really encourage them to not sit stiff in front of the screen, but to make sure that your body is taken care of as well. It can move and stretch. All right, cool. See, we have 10 people joining live. That's amazing. Sweet. So let's get started. Let me share with you what we'll cover today. So I'll start with sharing who this masterclass is for and a bit about me, so you have a sense of who the hell is sitting in front of you if you don't know me. And then we'll go into why charging hourly rates for your one-on-one sessions don't make sense for you from a business perspective, and also don't make too much sense for your clients. I'll then share with you what a transformational offer is and why it actually helps you to serve your clients better. And then also why it makes so much more sense as a business model than offering hourly rates for one-on-one sessions. And then we'll go into the 5 key components to make your transformational offer irresistible. So there it's going to get juicy, specific, so you actually take some real things with you. And then I'll share the 5 most common misconceptions that people have, that like when I share with them, hey, this is what I do with people, this is how I help people create a transformational offer. Those are the things that I hear most common as like a concern or as something where I feel like it just helps to clarify a couple of points. And then the last thing is I will share how I can, well, besides this masterclass, how I can further help you step away from hourly rates. And that is by supporting you create your own kick-ass transformational offer that you will love and your clients will love. So look forward to sharing that with you as well. Cool. Alrighty, so who is this masterclass for? Let me first say that it's totally fine if the things that I'm going to say right now do not fully apply to you, or some apply and some don't. It's just for me to clarify, who am I speaking to when I'm doing this masterclass? So you can stay here regardless of how many of those actually fit you. And just for you to know, this is the person that I'm speaking to. So the first thing is, you're already working one-on-one with people. So you have some kind of offer. Doesn't matter if you're a coach or a therapist or a facilitator, massage. I'm later going to talk about the kind of people that I work with, and that's all included. You just have some kind of one-on-one offer. The second thing is, you're great at what you're doing, meaning you are getting good results from working with people. People are coming back to you. Maybe people refer new people to you. You're getting clients, actually results. Obviously, it doesn't have to be every client, but there are clients where like, wow, the thing that I'm doing is actually really powerful and it's really helping someone. The next thing is you feel really passionate about what you're doing, and you want to make sure that you're serving your clients in the best way possible. So you're not just doing that for the money because it's easy or something like that, but it's because there's something in you where you're like, whoa, it's almost like I have to do this. Like there's this deep calling for me to work with clients and maybe to share insights that you've gained and to make the world a better place. And the last thing is, you're an action taker. So you love to implement stuff. When there's something that you hear that you find really inspiring, then you actually take action on that. All right. So a little bit about me. Obviously, some of you know me better than others. I'll share a couple of things. The first thing is, I consider myself to be on a spiritual path more consciously as a decision for the past 13 years. Like, it started when I was 16. I started feeling really drawn to spirituality and finding a deeper meaning in life. And so actually the years between like when I was 18, 19 to 22 to 23, I focused a lot on my healing. So I started studying psychology. I was doing psychotherapy, like I was being guided. I started doing various trainings, one a psychotherapy training, another one in nonviolent communication. So I was really curious about different approaches of healing, of becoming more whole. And then in 2017, as I said, I was studying psychology. I was already 3 years in, so I was quite close to my bachelor's. I quit university. And in retrospect, that was like the first decision that I made that really came from my core, like an empowered choice. I wasn't following like a path that someone else told me to follow, but it was like, whoa, this feels true to me. I don't belong to academia and university. And then I started exploring different things around self-employment. I actually got into men's work. I started facilitating men's circles. And then in the end of 2018, I worked with a sales coach. It was a really interesting experience. It was a very expensive coaching. It was like 15,000 euros. I didn't finish it. I ended early, let's say. But this was like my first getting in touch with working with clients and approaching clients. So this was an interesting experience, but there's a big but in this process, which was I had no idea what I was offering when I was working with this coach. I didn't have a clear transformational offer. It was really fun actually in this process. I dug out what it is that I developed as like, this is the work that I do. And you're seeing those two sentences on the slides. I wrote, I help empathic clients live, create, and manifest abundance from their intuitive, attuned core. I guide them through limiting beliefs, emotional blockages, and the challenges that come with manifesting dreams. Which, there are some seeds in there that are interesting, but overall, this is way too general. Like, barely anyone will feel like I'm speaking to them if I say these two sentences. Now, the crazy thing about this experience with my sales coach is I actually had results. I actually enrolled quite a lot of clients. It did not feel sustainable. I just took massive action. I reached out to tons of people. And it was clear for me that that was not sustainable. So I actually stopped this approach that I was doing, and kind of over time, developed a different approach than this. So after working with a sales coach, I then organized like a big online summit on men's work. I positioned myself more to be a purpose and embodiment coach, and I was working with exclusively with men, and I was offering groups and one-on-one coaching. And my offer back then was, it was not a transformational offer. It was more like a package. I had like a 12-session package on the topic of purpose, but that is not a transformational offer. And I'm going to say more about that later on. And then the last couple of years, I felt really drawn to the topic of business on different levels, like on marketing and sales and developing an online business, like using the power of the internet to create something really awesome. And so I did various trainings there. And one thing that I did, which really impacted me, was a business training that was last year. It cost $40,000 or $45,000. I actually got in for a bit of a discount because I couldn't afford $40,000. And this was a training with some of my mentors from the US that really inspired me. A lot of the principles that I learned were kind of like confirmations of how I was doing business by then, but some things also were really new and mind-blowing. And those are some of the things that I now teach to my clients. So I slowly transitioned from a purpose and embodiment coach to a somatic business coach in the last year and a half. I noticed that most people I was working with were self-employed people, and I just started helping them more actually with their business. And so over time, I realized, whoa, that's actually my passion. I really love helping people create a business that feels like an authentic expression of themselves, that also is done in a nervous system friendly way, that they're not burning out, but they're taking action towards what matters to them. So that's what I've been doing. I've worked full-time as a coach for the last 6 years, but that's what I've focused on the last year and a half. And then two other things that I just want you to know is I have tried a shitload of things when it comes to online business. So I did an online summit. I've done mini workshops. I've offered webinars. I've done groups. I've done masterminds. Like I've tried most of the models that are out there. I failed at most of them. And so that's one of the reasons why I've arrived at this model of the transformational offer. And I'll share more about why it makes so much sense for me to set up your business with a transformational offer. And then the last thing that I want you to know is it's really important for me to follow my rhythms in my own life. And so that informs how I operate in my business. So I work about 20 to 25 hours per week. I don't take calls in the mornings. Like I start my calls at 1 p.m. because the morning time is really sacred for me, just for myself, just to connect to myself. And I'm saying that because the way that I do my own business, but also coach others is in a way that it really fits who they are, that they're not just doing something because it's successful, but it actually fulfills more things than just the financial piece. And so if I were to describe like what makes my approach unique these days is I've learned and developed really clear strategies when I work with people. And it's not like you just connect to yourself and everything will unfold. No, there are like very clear, tangible strategies you can apply. And at the same time, they are paired with the embodiment piece, just with the importance of being connected to yourself in this whole process and noticing when something feels off and fine-tuning and really finding what works for you. And a different way you could say that is, I really stand for operating in your business in a nervous system friendly way, because in my view, that's the only sustainable way that we can lead our own business. And then the last piece is that I have discovered that the transformational offer that I will share with you in this masterclass is the simplest way that I have found to grow your business. And it's almost like when that's in place, everything around in your business falls into place and makes sense. That is my experience. Cool. Curious to hear from you in the chat. If anything from the things that I've shared about myself, if there's anything that resonates with you that you want to share, that you feel like either it's similar to your own experience or very different, just curious how that part lands in you, what it brings up in you. Gonna take a moment there to see if someone wants to share something. Okay, now I'm seeing there's also quite a lag between me speaking and then me looking at the comments. So I'm gonna continue with the presentation, but I still encourage you, if something resonated there with you, to put it in the chat, and I will either respond straight away or at the end. Nice, thanks, Bethany. Yes, exactly. Resistance comes to the game, and it's exactly the reason why doing things in a nervous system friendly way is so important for you, because it takes away so much of the friction that we often experience, like when we're taking action in a particular direction, that there's not the sense of like there's equal energy going in the different direction, but I feel really clear inside of me that this is the direction. And obviously there will always, to some degree, will be something uncomfortable, but discomfort is very different from like something actually in me saying, no, I absolutely don't want to do this. Yeah, nice, Martin. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. Flexibility that you need in your business. Absolutely. Yeah. Also that, you define your own schedule, and you can change things around if that's what you need. Absolutely. Great. So I want to share with you one example of a client of mine. So that's Justina. I actually recorded a conversation. If you're curious about that interview and you haven't seen it, you can just put in the comments under this masterclass interview, and I'll tag you below the conversation that I did with her. So she's an embodiment and yoga teacher, and together we developed her transformational offer, which is the sacred morning practice. So she helps people develop a morning routine that helps them connect to themselves and to something greater that is like tailor-made to this person, and something that feels easy to stick to. And so if you tune into the conversation, she shares that, we were doing this and she was passionate about the offer, but she had never done anything like this before. So she was like, no one's going to buy this. I'm going to do it because David told me to do that. And she also said, like, if she didn't have a coach, she would probably have postponed this for another 2 years. And she actually sent out just one email to her list, and her list was like 100 to 150 people. So there's not really that much. And within less than a day, actually, she got the three people she wanted for this transformational offer. One thing that I teach with most people is to get in some beta testers at a bit of a lower price, because it helps you get people very quickly, have an experience of success, and get quick feedback about your offer. So that's Justina. I have a couple of other examples. So one client, we're right now in the process of working on, he's a trauma therapist, and his transformational offer will be around the topic of developing clear boundaries, clear and healthy boundaries. Another client of mine, his transformational offer is about becoming trigger happy. So he helps people change their relationship to their own triggers, so that when they get triggered, they actually have this inner response of, wow, amazing, another opportunity for me to deepen my connection to myself, and like this knowing that I will be a different person if I go through this trigger. It's not just like, okay, let me experience the trigger so that I can feel good again. I will actually, experience more depth afterwards. So those are a couple of examples of transformational offers. Might give you a few more later in this masterclass. Cool. So let's get into the juice. Why hourly rates, from my perspective, don't make sense as a business model, and also don't really make sense for you and your clients. I'm gonna give this a caveat, which is, I know some people for whom doing one-on-one offers on an hourly basis actually works well. But for this, either one of two things needs to be in place. You either need a high volume of clients, and you actually also like a desire to work with a lot of clients at the same time. Like we're talking, let's say at least 20 clients per month, or let's say at least 15 clients per month for it to make sense business-wise. Or you have a very high price for your one-on-one sessions. So I have one friend of mine, his one-on-one session price is about 300 euros on average. And so with that, obviously, you can have a really profitable business. Another friend of mine, he loves working with he does 8 sessions in a row. And so if you do that twice a week, and he actually, he's been in business for 15 years, so he has a lot of clients, that works as well. Now, for me, that's not interesting. My maximum amount of people I work with one-on-one is 8 people. And I'm going to talk about the energetic investment that's in there as well, like why that feels like a good limit for me. So that's one thing. You either need a high volume of clients or a quite high price for your one-on-one sessions. Now, the next issue is it's quite challenging to communicate the value of your one-on-one sessions if you're just offering it on an hourly rate. So most of the time when people have this, they just have a website and they say like, oh, you can work with me on this topic and this topic and this topic and this topic and this topic. And basically and then we see what happens. And the problem is you're not speaking to someone specifically. You're saying like, this and that works. So it's in most cases, it's quite general and vague. And then the last thing is the uncertainty that when you offer one-off hourly sessions, then you never know when the client comes back, if they come back, if they just stop coming. So you constantly have this uncertainty of like financial income, and it will probably fluctuate a lot as well. Maybe over summer, people will completely stop working with you, and then they come fully again in autumn, something like this. Now, from the client's perspective, why I think one-off hourly sessions, why it doesn't make too much sense is there's no commitment from your client. They just come to a one-on-one session and that's it. And in my experience, being committed to a process over a bit of a longer time and being committed to a certain transformation just creates a completely different experience. People are way more motivated when they're clear why they're actually here. There's also not a lot of guidance that you provide when you have these one-on-one sessions and people kind of decide by themselves how often they want to come, if they want to come back, and so on and so forth. So you're not really stepping into this leadership role of like, hey, this is the process, this is what we're doing, this is how long it approximately takes. And the last thing is, and that is more for you as a facilitator, I'm curious to hear from you in the comments about this, but for me, when I work with a client, it's like I carry them with me whether we're doing the session or not. Like they're with me. And so there's a kind of energetic investment in working with someone that goes way beyond just the sessions. Like part of my system is kind of with this client, and that is great. I don't see that as like something bad. But if my model is I'm offering one-off sessions, but this energetic investment is actually something that I carry with me beyond those sessions, then there's an incongruence there. And it feels much more congruent when there's a clear container that I have with my clients, where there's a clear beginning and a clear ending. And then it feels really right to carry them with me for some time. Cool. So let me share with you what a transformational offer is, and then we'll go into why I see it as a better alternative to one-off one-on-one sessions, or even like a session package or something like that. So a transformational offer solves a specific problem or challenge that people have. So that can be, I want to be more loving to my partner. I want to have a better relationship with my children. I want to grow my business to this amount. I want to feel pain-free when I do sports. There's like a specific challenge that people have, and your offer is a solution to that. Also, just if that's not fully clear to you yet, I'm going to speak a bit more to that later in a few slides. A transformational offer also contains a clearly defined journey. So you always have the starting point, where the person is. You have where they want to go, their the desire that they have of what they want to reach. And then what a transformational offer provides is not just, oh, I take you from A to B. It tells you, I take you from A to B, and here are the stops, here are the milestones in the process. So if you want to be more loving to your partner, maybe one step is noticing more, like what is the irritation that comes up for you that leads you to being more, to doing things that you maybe later regret. And then the next thing is learning to become more compassionate to this reaction, this part. And then the next thing is having enough space so that you actually can respond lovingly to your partner. So the transformational offer manages to communicate clearly, not just I go from A to B, but how this journey actually looks like. And so that will help your clients understand more. And when they understand more, they're more in. They're like, cool, I understand what we're going to do. Let's do it. The next thing is you're speaking to a specific target audience and you qualify them. And qualifying in this instance means you're saying, look, this is for you if you are here in life. If you don't have these things in place, my offer is not for you. So like I did in the beginning of this masterclass, I said, this is who I'm going to speak to in this masterclass. And so what that does is it's going to exclude a lot of people, and you're going to speak very specifically to a certain group of people. And so when you do that, people are going to be like, he's speaking to me, like even though he's never met me, it's almost like he's in my mind. He understands my thought process better than I do. Then the next thing is a transformational offer is a container. So that's a big difference to hourly rates for one-on-one sessions. So a transformational offer says, this is the container. This is how long we're going to work together. This is what's going to happen in the container. So there's, that many sessions that is part of it. There's maybe communication in between sessions. Here are extra resources that I'm going to give to you. So it has this sense of like a container, which again, for me, matches the experience of the energetic investment that I have when I work with clients. Now, the next two things that I'm going to share, they are not essential elements of a transformational offer, but they are how I look at them. So one is, for me, a transformational offer generally starts at 4 figures. So starting from €1,000 or above. There might be certain circumstances where it makes more sense to offer a lower price. But in general, for me, a transformational offer is more of a higher price thing. So for example, my current one-on-one offer costs 3,000 euros. And the last piece that I feel really passionate about and that I just love about transformational offers is I provide a guarantee when I share with someone a transformational offer. And so the guarantee in my particular example would be, if you don't make the money back that you're investing over the course of our container, I'm going to continue working with you for free until you do. And that can, in different circumstances, it can mean if you don't feel, we're going to work on this topic of, let's say, boundaries. And if you don't feel a significant difference in your relationship to boundaries after working with me for this amount of time, I'll keep on working with you for free until you do. And so that creates a sense of safety for your client. It makes it easier to make the investment. And it also shows, like, me as a coach, I'm fully committed to this process. I'm not just going to let you go after the container is over if you don't feel like you actually got what you were looking for. Ooh, so these are let's say some of the points that for me point to a transformational offer just being more useful for your clients. You actually can serve them better. So one is, I said this before, it's much more clear what they're going into. They're clear about the container, they're clear about the topic, they're clear about where they have to be so that they can benefit from working with you. And in my experience, it makes people really motivated. Like the last 4 to 5 clients I've started working with on actually developing their own transformational offer, from all of them, like once we agreed on the container, they sent me a message. They're like, I'm so ready. I'm so excited. Let's do this. Because they know what they're going into. There's not like this, ooh, well, I have no idea what this is going to be. No, they're very clear on the transformation that they're going to work on with you. There's a clear focus on results. And obviously that will look differently depending on your kind of niche. But it totally works for more inner work related stuff. You just have to define what a result looks like in a more therapeutic session. But just to give you an example, I started working with one man on the topic of people pleasing. And so the result there that I said he's going to have is he's going to experience way more space when he notices the pattern of people pleasing in him coming up. And he's going to have way more choice in how he wants to respond. So he's no longer going to be a victim of that pattern, but he's going to be able to choose. And that is the result and the guarantee that I gave him. Like, hey, if you don't experience that after 4 months of working with me and implementing, doing the practices that I'm sharing, I'm going to continue working with you. And funny enough, after 2 weeks of working with me and of doing the practices, he was like, whoa, that already feels super different. So that's super cool. And the last piece here is, because you're offering a container and because you're most likely going to work with fewer clients, you can provide a more full support than if you just offer one-on-one sessions. So that can be checking in with that person from time to time in between calls. It can be offering some additional resources, recording videos, because from a business perspective, you will need less to sell less transformational offers to have a sustainable business. You can actually give a lot more than if you're offering one-off one-on-one sessions. Cool. So I said already a couple of those points, but let's look into why a transformational offer makes more sense business-wise as well than selling, an hourly rate on one-on-one sessions. So the first thing is, generally, as I said, a transformational offer for me starts at 1,000 euros. It's ballpark. But in my experience, it's way easier to charge higher prices for such an offer, because people are not thinking about, oh, David, that means David charges this and that for his time for 1 hour. They're going to think about, is the transformation that is being promised, is it worth this investment? And so the thinking process is very different, and it makes it easier to charge higher prices. And in my experience, when I invest more money into something, there's a very good chance I will also be more committed in the process. So for me, that's actually part of having really motivated clients, because they're investing a significant amount of money. So they're more in. They have skin in the game. That's one way to say it. Most likely you will have fewer clients that are more motivated. You will work with people in those containers, so on a bit of a more long-term frame than just one-off sessions, which I really enjoy. You might enjoy just giving one-off sessions, that's fine, but that's not like where I see my power or how I want to serve people. If done well, your transformational offer will position you super clearly in the market, that when people come across you, they know within a couple of seconds whether this is for them or not. And they're not gonna, one of the issues that when we say like, oh, I'm a coach, or oh, I'm a shiatsu practitioner, oh, I'm a trauma therapist, there are thousands of those. So why would someone choose you? Whereas if you're very specific in like, I'm a coach and I help people, let's just share my example. I help spiritual entrepreneurs grow their business to 3,000 to 5,000 euros per month consistently by creating and selling a transformational offer. That is very precise. And so when you have that, you will stand out because people will know right away what you're about, what you're offering. The transformational offer honors the energetic investment much more. I talked about this before. And lastly, I also kind of said this in the beginning, but you're being paid for providing a solution, for actually helping someone change something and not your time. And for me, that just makes so much more sense. Like I want to be paid for making a difference in someone's life and not just my time, because then I could just sit here and do nothing. Like I feel more motivated if I'm being paid for that. Cool. All right. Let's maybe take a breath. It's getting a bit fast. Oh. This is cool. For me, it's really exciting to share this with you guys. I feel really passionate about transformational offers. So obviously, it takes some skill to create a transformational offer that is irresistible, that stands out and speaks to people. And one of the things, I shared this before, is to qualify your audience, to say, look, this is not for everyone. This is for you if you're in this place. So in my example, I would say, if you have not sold one-on-one sessions before, it doesn't make sense to work with me. If you're just starting out in your business, then my offer is not the right thing. So you qualify the audience, you tell them what they need to bring to the table so that working with you actually makes sense. The next thing is you're providing a solution to a problem or challenge that they have, and you've actually validated that people actually want this. So one of the things that I guide people through when they work with me is to validate their offer in the market. So we do some market research where you actually interview people to hear how they talk about their own challenges, so that you get a sense of like, oh, is this idea that I have about the offer, is it speaking in the language that my clients actually have? Because many of us, we have this problem that, we're experts, we're in our topic all day long, and we talk about things in a way that might not make sense to other people. So we want to make sure that we're actually addressing the challenge that people have and the way that they talk about it. And so we want to make sure that that's validated. The next thing is there are some milestones in this transformational offer. So it's not just I help you go from here to there. It's saying I help you go from here to here, And these are the different things that we're going to go through for you to get there, which again will make it much more tangible for people. Otherwise, they're probably not going to trust the process. They're going to be like, yeah, I want to get there, but I don't see how you're actually helping me get there. The next thing is, it's kind of tied to providing a solution to a problem. It's having a clear promise of, hey, this is what you're going to take from working with me. And this is really important for me. We don't overpromise. So this is one of the ways I'm seeing transformational offers being abused, is that, coaches, I guess, especially promise the world to people. And that's not, that doesn't make sense. It's not sustainable. We want to promise something that people actually feel like, yeah, that's attainable. So if I say, I can help you 1.5x your income, or let's say double your income, that's more realistic than to say, I'm going to help you 10x your income in 2 months. So we want to have a clear promise, and we don't want to overpromise. We also don't want to underpromise. Like, we want to be confident about the transformation that we can provide. The last thing is, you provide a guarantee. You say, if you don't reach this goal by this time after working with me, and if you implement the stuff that we're doing. So the guarantee has to be tied to something the client is putting in. Of course, like, if they just sit there and don't take action, they're not going to get this guarantee. But if they implement and things just take longer for whatever reason, then you can say, hey, I'll still be there. I'll work with you. And because transformational offer goes at a higher price, you can do that from a really abundant place of like, yeah, I really want you to experience that transformation. If that takes a bit longer, so be it. Sweet. Cool. We're coming to the end of the masterclass. Almost there. Two more things to go through. The first thing is the 5 most common misconceptions that people have about selling transformational offers. Like, the questions that you might have in your head of like, well, it sounds nice, but, and then something comes. So one thing is, does this work in my niche? You can put your niche in the comments if you want. You can tell me like who you're working with, what your profession is and the stuff that you've been offering, and I'm happy to respond to that. Generally, my experience, everyone I've worked with so far, yes, a transformational offer works. So it works in therapy, it works in coaching, it works if you do some kind of massage thing. In the vast majority of situations, yes, it absolutely will work in your niche. It just takes like looking at things from a bit of a different angle. And in the last point, I'm going to speak a bit more to that. The next thing is, yeah, that sounds cool. I'd love to sell this, but my audience just can't pay me any higher prices. Like, they're broke. They're, all they can afford is whatever, 50 euros per session. So I would really challenge that, because in most cases, when people say they can't afford it, it actually means I don't see the value of what you're offering for me to actually provide the resources. And if there's something that that they see like, whoa, this would really make a difference, and it addresses like a current question that they have, humans are very creative in making the resources available. Like, there are many ways that we can find the finances if we feel like this will really help me right where I am. The next thing is, does it make my business overly exclusive? So I personally, and also the people I work with, care about making our work available to a larger group of people, not just to those who can afford high prices. So a couple of pieces on there. One is, for me, this transformational offer is like the pinnacle of my business. It's like the highest offer that I have, because it's one-on-one. If I have a group offer, it makes sense that it's at a lower price because there are more more people participating. Like if I give my time and attention to one person, for me, it makes sense that that's a really exclusive thing because I can't actually work with that many people at the same time. Now, having said that, when you dial in that higher price transformational offer and you sell it consistently, you're in a really good spot business wise, and you will be able to start creating free offers or lower priced offers that more people can afford from a really abundant place. You can create a workshop that's really cheap without this kind of fuck, I need to sell this 50 times right now, otherwise like I've wasted my time. So it makes sense for me to first fill your transformational offer, and then you can create everything else that you want, where you want more people to have access from a much more spacious place. The next thing that I hear quite often is, I don't want to become too specific because I love working on like many different topics. So I don't want to just be the guy for this one thing. So in my experience, when I become very clear about one thing I'm offering, it does not necessarily mean that I exclude everyone else. So I have this example, this one client who I'm working with on the topic of people pleasing. And I actually reached out to him to share the business coaching that I'm doing right now. And he was like, hey, that sounds awesome. I'm not looking for help there. I'm interested in overcoming people pleasing. And I was like, cool, let's talk. I love this topic. So when you're very clear with what you're offering, it doesn't mean that you can only offer this. There will be people coming in who resonate with what you're doing, but who will not fall exactly into this category. And there will always be opportunities to work with them as well. There generally, what like being very specific does, it speaks super clearly to some people, and other people might still resonate and be interested. So they will not feel like, oh, I cannot participate here at all. Like I've had one or two people, for example, who are joining this masterclass, and they said, hey, I haven't started working with one-on-one clients yet. I'm like, cool, no problem. I mean, check the masterclass out. It's just my transformational offer won't be for you, and that's fine. And then the last thing that I also hear a lot, and this might apply to you as well, Martin, people saying the work that I do is very emergent, like we're just being present to what's coming up in the process. So it doesn't feel right to actually provide too much structure because we want to be with what's happening. That does not have to stand in the way of creating a clear transformational offer. Like, for example, with this one client who I'm working with on the topic of people pleasing, the sessions that we do, they're very emergent. They're very much, let's see what comes up in our space. But then I give him homework and practices for him to do to actually implement something. And there is still this larger arch of here's what we're working on, here's where we're starting, here's where we're ending. So your work can be very much emergent. It's just embedded in a larger container that has some structure. So you just need to be clear. Hey, these are the things, these are the milestones that we're going to go through. You can totally make them unique to each client you're working with, but just because your work is very emergent doesn't mean that the structure is in the way. It's just a matter of where is structure and where is emergence, and how does that fit together. And so far, we've always, when I've worked with clients who do like very emergent, maybe more therapeutic work, very somatic work, there's always a possibility to bring those two together. Nice, sweet. So that was a mouthful. We're at 45 minutes. Yay, that's awesome. Cool. So we're coming to the last part of this masterclass, and then we will have some space for Q&A if there are any questions coming up in the process. So I just want to share with you how I can help you step away from hourly rates with a kick-ass transformational offers that both you and your clients will love. Now, this will not be relevant to everyone who's watching this masterclass, and that's completely fine. If you're clear that that's not relevant for you, I encourage you to stay with me and just notice how I'm applying all the things that I've talked about and how to create a cool transformational offer when I'm sharing this. So for who is this offer? And so my coaching offer is called Elevate Your Business. It's a one-on-one coaching program. And it's for people who are making 2,000 to 4,000 euros per month, not necessarily consistently. And also that really doesn't have to be just one-on-one sessions. Maybe you do group stuff as well, or maybe you have a side job. But this is approximately the range that you're in. You have good results when you're working with people one-on-one. You feel really passionate about serving your clients in the best way possible. And maybe you've tried already different ways of making yourself more visible. Maybe you've created a website, you've tried posting stuff on social media. Maybe you have an email list, a newsletter. Maybe you've worked somewhere locally. So you've tried different things, but there was not like this clear thread. There was not like a clear strategy behind it. It was more like random kind of, oh, let me try this, let me try this, let me try this. It's really important for you that the way that you're doing business is in a nervous system friendly way, that you're not hustling, you're not pushing yourself into burnout. You're doing it in a sustainable way. You're doing it in a way where like it feels good in your body, you're enjoying it. And is also for you, this program, if you're looking for clear strategies. So like the work that I do, it's not like manifesting abundance by connecting to your higher self and hoping something will happen. It's very tangible things, like where it's very clear, am I doing it or am I not doing it? And so this is what is part of this container of the Elevate Your Business one-on-one coaching program. So it's 4 months. It's a one-on-one program. There are 6 calls in these 4 months. So there's 1 per month. And then we have 2 that we kind of float and see where it's necessary. There's unlimited support in between. So with my clients, I'm in communication quite consistently. Often it's voice messages, often it's, hey, can you check this for feedback? Can you let me know? And so I answer usually within 24 to 48 hours. There are some worksheets that I give my clients to work through to actually clarify your transformational offer. There's also a guarantee that if you don't make back your money after those 4 months of working with me, then I will actually continue working with you for free until you do. Hasn't happened so far, but of course can always happen. And generally, I would say what's very likely to happen is that your income will go, if it's at 2,000 euros, it will go to 3,000. If it's at 4,000, it will go to 5,000. So something like 1.5xing. It can obviously totally be more. And again, I only want to promise something that I feel really confident that I can provide. And so the milestones that I take you through are, first, I help you create the transformational offer. So we talk about your positioning, we talk about your niche, we talk about your ideal client, your target audience. And then from this, we're going to start structuring an offer, which we're then going to validate in the market. And that is one key piece that is missing for a lot of people, is they just create something that feels true to them, and then they start selling it and maybe no one responds. And so with this validating in the market, doing some market research, we can reduce this by a lot. And we can actually talk to people. And then when you talk about your transformational offer, you feel so much more confident because you've heard people say these exact things over and over again. So that's stage 1 of this first milestone. The second one is selling your transformational offer. So that means getting in your first clients. For many people, I do like getting in some beta testers at a lower price, and also having a launch strategy where you activate your existing audience. So finding strategies to actually see who in your audience is already ready to actually work with you, where you maybe didn't even know that they're in your audience. Just some simple things that we can do to kind of catch those low-hanging fruits of people who are kind of waiting for an offer that they're excited to work with you on. And then the last thing is, obviously, I want you to be able to sell your transformational offer consistently. So we're going to develop your unique strategy of selling your offer on a consistent basis, of new people coming into your audience. And one key piece there that I enjoy doing is content marketing. So when you post stuff on social media or on your website, we're going to work on it in such a way that it makes sense from the pieces of content that you're putting out there, what your transformational offer is. So for example, for some of you going through this masterclass, it will make a lot of sense for you to work with me one-on-one. It's not completely disconnected. If I were to talk about something really random and then say, oh, by the way, I help you create a transformational offer, there will be this kind of disconnect of like, wait, what? We were just talking about something completely different. So that is one piece that we're going to work on in the sales strategy, in just making sure that you sell your transformational offer consistently. Sweet. I have right now 2 spots available. That is not some marketing crap of like, oh, you have to act fast, take your time. I right now am working with 6 people on this, so I literally am only taking 2 more people. And if you resonate with this, if you resonate with what I said about who this is for and where you need to be at, and you'd love to develop your own transformational offer in the way that we talked about in this masterclass, then just send me a message on social media or via email and just tell me a bit about where you're at in your business. And then, we see from there if we're a good fit, if it actually makes sense from both of our sides to work together. So feel free to do that. I look forward to hearing from you. That marks the end of our masterclass. Well, we're almost at an hour, so thanks for sticking with me. Took a bit longer than I thought. And yeah, from here, I'm going to stay a bit longer just to check if there are any kind of questions that you want to ask. You can put them in the chat and I'll be happy to respond. I hope you had a great time. I had a lot of fun sharing the stuff with you. Any kind of questions, feel free to bring them on now. Also, if you're watching the replay, just put them in the chat and be happy to respond. Just finished my cup of tea. That's good timing as well. All right, gonna wait a couple more seconds in case someone is typing up a longer message. Otherwise, gonna wrap it up here, and can always ask a question and I'll just respond in the Facebook group. I'll be present there after our call now. Yeah, Jan, thank you. So Jan is one of the clients that is working with me on this transformational offer. And yeah, I told many of my clients that it's going to be useful for them. They're going to be more clear about the transformational offer and more excited. So that's awesome to hear from you, Jan. So Petter, how can you be sure that you deliver on what you promised? Well, if the client doesn't do the homework, you can be fully clear. You say, if you don't do the homework, nothing's going to happen. So you're not the savior. You're saying, I'm laying out what you need to do to have the transformation you're looking for, but it's always up to the client to do the work. And so if they don't do the homework, just be very clear from the beginning. Like, this is not a magic pill. What I'm offering here is not a magic pill. It takes action. I'm just providing you the strategies that are necessary to actually implement it. So that's why I said the guarantee is always tied to some sort of action from the side of your client. If they don't do the action, there's nothing you can do. And so generally with a transformational offer, so that's why we invite in beta testers. We want to actually make sure that we can deliver on our promise. Generally with a transformational offer, you offer like, I wouldn't offer like a 12-month program on this and that. Like, we tend to keep it shorter because the kind of person we want to attract are action takers, people who want to implement, and they tend to not want to wait for 12 months until they experience a transformation. So the cool thing is, if you have that guarantee, it's not an issue if it takes longer. So you say, cool, we're working together for 3 months, for 5 months, whatever. And if this one person tends to take longer, that's fine. But you make sure that they actually implement the stuff you're teaching. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Like, it's not your fault if someone is not implementing. Generally, if someone steps into a transformational offer with a significant financial investment, they will implement because they have skin in the game. So it's very different from like charging 50 euros for a session where someone would be like, yeah, I don't know, don't feel like implementing. That comes back to the piece of having more motivated clients, actually. Nice. Any other questions? Anything you want to bring in? Free to bring it in the comments. That's awesome. I saw 10 people being live and staying with me the whole time. I really appreciate that. I really, really appreciate you taking the time. I'm really not taking that for granted. Even though this is a free masterclass, it takes a sort of commitment from your side to actually stay with me. So yeah, thank you for that. Really appreciate it. Sweet. Yeah, thank you, Oliver. I'm glad you're with us. All right. So yeah, if you have any more questions, you can still put them in the comments and I'll respond to them at a later point. Thank you so much. I had so much fun with this. I look forward to hearing from you if you actually want to work with me, if you feel curious about that. It's not a committal thing. If you send me a message, we'll still talk. I also want to make sure that I actually can help you. But yeah, I do wish you an amazing evening, rest of the day. And yeah, look forward to interacting with you in one way or another in the next weeks. Much love. Ciao, ciao.